Hello friends, welcome to another module of this program. In this module we will talk about what are client-side attacks. So first of all, let's understand what are sessions and what are cookies. So cookie is a packet of information sent from the server to the client, means sent from the server to the user and then sent back to the server each time it is accessed by the user. Cookies are transferred between server and user according to HTTP. Cookies can also be thought of as a ticket used to identify clients and their orders. Cookies are text files stored on the client computer and they are kept for various information tracking purposes. Server scripts sends a set of cookies to the browser, for example name, age or identification number, etc. The browser stores this information on a local machine for future use. When next time browser sends any request to web server, then it sends those cookies information to the server and server use that information to identify the user. Also, one of the best advantage of cookies is their persistence. When a cookie is set on the client's browser or on the user's browser, it can persist for days, months or years. This makes it easier to save user preferences and visit information. The cookies are stored on the client's hard disk, so if the server crashes, the cookies are still available. And they not only remember which website you have been to, they also remember the information about forms. They can fill out the address forms quick and efficient. Most online shopping websites allow the cookies for the address and email information, but they make you fill out your credit card information each time, because over there cookies are not saved. Now let's talk about what are sessions. You can store user information like username, item selected, etc. in the server side for later use using PHP sessions. Sessions work by creating a UID, that is unique identification, for each visitor and storing variables based on this UID. The UID is either stored in a cookie or is propagated in the URL. A session creates a file in a temporary directory on the server where registered sessions variables and their values are stored. This data will be available to all pages on the site during that website. A session ends when the user closes the browser or after leaving the site. The server will terminate the session after a predetermined period of time, commonly 30 minutes duration. One of the biggest advantage of session is that we can store any kind of object in it. Example, database, dataset, etc. By using session, we don't need to worry about data collapse because it stores every client data separately. Session is secure and transparent from the user. Now, let's see our first attack, and that is session fixation attack. It is an attack that permits an attacker to hijack a valid user session. That's why this attack is also known as session hijacking. The attack explores a limitation in the way the web application manages the session ID, more specifically the vulnerable web application. When authenticating a user, it doesn't assign a new session ID, making it possible to use an existing session ID. The attack consists of obtaining a valid session ID, example, by connecting to the application, inducing a user to authenticate himself with that session ID, and then hijacking the user validated session, means which has been validated by the user by the client by the knowledge of use session ID. The attacker must provide a legitimate web application session ID and try to make the victim's browser use it. So this is how we perform session hijacking. Let's see an example for the same in a testing environment. So these are some of the most common techniques. Session token in the URL argument. The session ID is sent to the victim in a hyperlink and the victim accesses the site through the malicious URL. Session token in a hidden form field. In this method, what happens? The victim must be triggered to authenticate in the target web server using a login form developed for the attacker. The form could be hosted in the evil web server or directly in HTML formatted email. That's another way. The third way is session ID in a cookie. HTTP header response. This method explores the server response to fix the session ID in the victim's browser, including the parameter set cookie in the HTTP header response. The attacker is able to insert the value of session ID in the cookie and send it to the victim's browser. Now, let's see an example for the same in our testing environment. So, thank you for watching this tutorial. Hello friends, welcome to the next tutorial of this module. In this tutorial, we will talk about what is forced browsing. Forced browsing is an attack where the aim is to enumerate and access resources that are not referenced by the application, but those references are still accessible. An attacker can use brute force technique to search for unlinked content in the domain directory, such as temporary directories and files and old backups and configuration files. These resources may store sensitive information about web application and operational system, such as source code, credentials, internal network addressing, and so on, thus being considered a valuable resource for intruders. If the intruder get the access to these files, he or she can even get a hold of the whole website. This attack is performed manually when the application index directories and pages are based on number generation or predictable values, or using automated tools for common files and directory names. This attack is also known as predictable resource location, file enumeration, directory enumeration, and resource enumeration. So a scanning tool like Nikto has the ability to search for existing files and directories based on a database of well-known resources such as system files, passwords, logs, admins, tests. So it will search, it will brute force all these files and give us the result. These will be those files which are not referenced by the web application but are still accessible. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Hello friends, welcome to the next tutorial of this module. In this tutorial, we will learn about what is CSRF. CSRF stands for Cross-Site Request Forgery. It is an attack that forces an end user to execute unwanted action on a web application in which they are currently authenticated. So over here, let's also understand what is the difference between authentication and authorization. First of all, authentication confirms your identity to grant access to the system, whereas authorization determines whether you are authorized to access the resources or not. In authentication, it validates user's credential to gain user access, but in authorization, it verifies whether you are allowed to access those resources or not. Also, authentication determines whether user is what he claims to be or not. But in authorization, it determines whether user can or cannot access a resource. Basically, authentication requires a username and a password, but authorization depends upon various security levels. And yes, authentication is the first step of authorization because authorization is done after successful authentication. Let me give you an example. You might be a student of a particular university where you are required to authenticate before accessing library. But in authorization, so let me give you an example for the same. You might be a student of a particular university where you are required to authenticate yourself to access library. But in library, you don't have the authorization to go through all the sections. There are some restricted areas where you're not allowed to go. So over here, you're not authorized to go to those sections. So that was about authorization and authentication. Now, CSRF attacks specifically target state-changing requests. Means there is no theft of data since the attacker has no way to see the response to the forged request. With a little help of social engineering, such as sending a link via email or via chat, an attacker may trick the user of a web application into executing actions of the attacker's choosing. If the victim is a normal user, a successful CSRF attack can force the user to perform state-changing requests like transfer funding, changing their email address, and so forth. If the victim is an administrative account, CSRF can compromise the entire web application. So, under the pretext of doing something else, the victim ends up getting trapped and perform state-changing requests. So in our next tutorial, we will see a demo how to perform CSRF in our testing environment. So, thank you for watching this tutorial.
Hello friends, welcome to the next tutorial of this program. Today, in this tutorial, we will talk about how to perform CSRF attack in a testing environment. So, let's see an example. So over here, go to CSRF. Now enter the password. Let's enter 123 as our new password and click change. As you can see over here, this website is using get based request. That's why the password has been displayed over here, and that is 123. Now let's log out and check whether if we are able to log in with the new password or not. We are successfully able to log in with the new password. Now let's change our password to 1234, and this time let's intercept this request and generate CSRF POC. So I will turn on the intercept and change password. So as you can see, the burp suite has intercepted our request and the password is 1234. Now right click over here and go to engagement tool and generate CSRF POC. You have to copy this HTML code. Click copy HTML. Go to Notepad and over here paste the copied HTML code. Save this file with HTML extension. Let's give it a name CSRF with HTML extension. Hit save. Now turn off your intercept. As you can see over here, your new password is 1234. So if we log in again, we have to type 1234 as our new password. Now let's change again our password to QWERTY. Hit change. Now the password is QWERTY. To check whether this site has CSRF vulnerability or not, let's open the file which we have saved in our laptop. And yes, remember this thing, you have to open the file in the same browser where you have logged in into your account. For example, over here I am using Firefox, so I will right click this file and open with Firefox. In some cases it might ask for submit request, and if it's not asking, that's also not a problem. Now the password has been changed to 1234. So as I change it to QWERTY, it has been overridden and the new password is 1234. So if I log out and enter QWERTY, it won't log in. It will say login failed cause we have successfully performed CSRF attack. Now let's log in with 1234. And voila, we have successfully logged in into our account. So this ensures that CSRF vulnerability exists over here. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching this tutorial.
Hello friends, welcome to the next tutorial of this module. In this tutorial, we will talk about what is open redirection vulnerability. An open redirection vulnerability is when a web application or server uses a user-submitted link to redirect the user to a given website or page. Even though it seems like a harmless action to let a user decide on which page he wants to be redirected to, if exploited, such a technique can have a serious impact, especially when combined with other vulnerabilities and tricks. An attacker can construct a URL within the application that causes a redirection to an arbitrary external domain. Over here, external domain refers to the website on which the attacker wants the user to be redirected. This behavior can be leveraged to facilitate phishing attacks against users of the application. The impacts can be many and vary from theft of information and credentials to the redirection to malicious websites containing attackers' controlled content, which in some cases even causes XSS attack. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Hello friends, welcome to another tutorial of this module. In this tutorial, we will talk about what is personally identifiable information leakage, which is also known as PII. Many websites show information of users like their full names, email, PAN card details. Such information is called personally identifiable information or PII. It is the information that can be used to identify a person. While information like full names may not be used to point out one person specifically, but information such as Aadhaar card or PAN card can be used to exactly point out the person, and such information is considered highly critical. Such information shouldn't be available for others to see, since people may track you down using it and then can socially hack you. So whenever a website fails to protect PII, it is called PII leakage. There are two reasons for PII. First, the application has vulnerability like IDOR, which we have discussed earlier, that was insecure direct object reference or SQL injection, directory listing, etc. The application doesn't realize that it is storing PII properly and leakage PII as a feature of some sort. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Now let's see what is sensitive information disclosure. Information disclosure is when an application fails to properly protect sensitive and confidential information from parties that are not supposed to have access to the subject matter in normal circumstances. These type of issues are not exploitable in most cases, but are considered as web application security issues because they allow malicious hacker to gather relevant information which can be used later in the attack lifecycle. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Hello friends, welcome to the next tutorial of this module. Today, in this tutorial, we are going to see live practical of CSRF attack on inflectra.com. So let's see the same. So over here, we will be changing user account password and other information. So let's first see the inflectra.com site. I have opened this website on Google Chrome. And we have made two accounts. One is Ankit1. Let me show you. This account I have opened in Mozilla Firefox. This is the Ankit1. And the other account is Akash Singh 1, which I have opened in Google Chrome. As you can see over here. So now just follow my instructions. Over here in Mozilla Firefox, we'll change password of Ankit's account. Let me first insert my password, then we'll change to the new password. Also just let me check once what network proxy I'm using. Okay, it's no proxy. Okay, over here it's saying the new password cannot be the same as the old one. So let's change. Just let me delete this. Yeah. So now let me just change to new password. Now let's change our proxy setting to manual proxy so that we can intercept the request of burp suite. Let's turn on intercept. Now let's capture this request, change password. Okay, so this is the request, password and current password. Let's right click, engagement tool, generate CSRF POC. Let's copy HTML. Now we'll paste this HTML of Ankit Singh's ID, which we have opened in Mozilla Firefox. This is the attacker one and Akash Singh is the user one. Okay. So first we are changing the password of Ankit's ID, the attacker one. Let's delete this. Now let's paste our HTML request. We have copied this and we have pasted over here. Okay, so now let's save this file. We'll open it in Google Chrome. Okay, if you'll see over here, Akash Singh ID is open in Google Chrome. That is the user. So we are attacker, we are attacking user. Now let's submit request. As you can see, your password was successfully changed, and over here the ID is Akash Singh and we generated POC of Ankit Singh, the other, that was the attacker email. As you can see over here, it's Ankit's ID. Let's see, let's turn off the intercept, and again let's go to network proxy as no proxy, so that we can see more changes that we can make in Ankit Singh account, so that we can reflect changes in Akash account. So what we'll do over here, let me tell you, just a second. Yeah, now what we will do, we will change the first name from Ankit to hacker. We will perform this. Now let me input other details as well. Okay, so it's not accepting this address. Let me put a valid address over here. Let's type Meerut and city Varanasi, anything over here. Okay, postal code can be this. Okay, so before changing, we'll go back to manual proxy and intercept the request. Let's turn on the intercept and let's see what we have changed. Okay, now let's submit changes. Okay, let's forward this one, and yeah, this is our request. We'll just right click, engagement tools, generate CSRF POC, same procedure, copy HTML. Now let's open this, edit with notepad, and over here we'll delete this. Let's delete this one as well and paste our HTML request. Okay, save as index.html. Now we'll again open this. Oh, mistakenly I clicked on edit. Yeah, we'll open it in Google Chrome. Okay, as you can see, we'll update profile. Let's see if the first name has been changed to hacker or not after submitting request of Akash IDs. Let's submit request. Voila, the name has been changed to hacker K Singh. Though it was Akash K Singh, now it has been changed to hacker K Singh. So that's all for this video. Thanks a lot for watching this tutorial. Hello friends, welcome to the next tutorial of this module. Today, in this tutorial, we are going to see live practical of session fixation attack. Over here, we will be making use of one important Chrome extension, and that is edit this cookie. What this extension will do, it will basically copy the existing cookies of this page so that we can save the cookies and use them later. So let's see the same. So first let's reload this page. As you can see over here, I have already logged in. So what I will do, I will just click on this extension and export, and I'll paste the cookies in notepad file. Now let's log out from this account. As you can see, we have successfully logged out from this account. Now what we will do, we will import cookies, and before that we will delete the existing cookies. Now we will copy the just copied cookies, Ctrl A, Ctrl C, Control V. Now let's tick again. Now let's reload this page, and after reloading we should be logged in if session fixation attack works over here. My internet is a bit slow, so let's wait. Voila! We have successfully logged in and performed session fixation attack over here. So that's all for this video. Thanks a lot for watching this tutorial.
Hello friends, welcome to the next tutorial of this module. Today in this tutorial we are going to see live practical of sensitive information disclosure. So this is the website that we are going to use in this tutorial. Let's first navigate to this website, that is opcao.imb. It's some Portuguese website. Let's change the language. Now let's navigate to some page. So we have navigated to real estate rental. Now let's paste this URL and see what response do we get. As you can see over here, we have got an error, and this error is providing us some sensitive information, also providing us some path, and the same error is being repeated multiple times. Even if we are scrolling down, we are able to see the same error again and again. Now let's delete PHP error part and hit enter. So we have been able to access some files over here which seems to be a bit sensitive. Now let's go one directory backward. Okay, there are more files. Now let's try going two directory backwards. Over here, if you can see that we have admin directory, so if we'll go over there, we'll be able to extract sensitive information. So this is how we extract sensitive information via a small error in the website. So that's all for this video. Thanks a lot for watching this tutorial.